toxic.
But I feel like especially with that in our community, it's a tool to what's the word, dehumanize us, if you will. You know what I'm saying? We're
Ooh,
animals, we're
that's an
savages,
interesting point.
we're thugs, we're this, we're that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool that they use to further you should fear them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
think about all the the police involved shootings. Oh, he had a
Sure.
criminal record. He got arrested in 2004 for
Mm-hmm.
shoplifting some fucking Redstone soda out of Golden Pantry.
Right. And then that's just like, I mean, we're kind of going on a slight aside. So just like anytime you hear about the news of a black male getting shot by the police,
Mm-hmm.
what do they always try to find? Oh, in the 7th grade, he got suspended for 10 days for flipping over a desk or some shit like that. Or, they try to find the craziest little shit that they can find to make it seem like, oh, they weren't really that good. They were, a degenerate, less than ideal, less than and they try to find the worst pictures ever. It's fucking crazy. It tries to perpetuate, like you were saying, a stereotype.
Yeah. And another case would be, in my case, in the military, and this is just my mindset, is if I'm hurt, if I'm sick or whatever, I'm still out there. I'm still doing PT. I'm still doing this. Because if you go to sick call or whatever, you fucking soft. You get your ass out there. But over the time, I was like, you know what? My hip hurt. Fuck this shit. I'm going to the sick call.
Right.
But, I mean,
exactly.
And, the toxic masculinity, as you call it, it goes beyond our community. But as far as
it does.
our community, the over aggressiveness is a lot of times something that we feel like we have to do. We have to be aggressive. As soon as we step out that door and go down the street to a store, it's us against whoever the fuck is out there. And you know what I'm saying? That's the mindset of our community, the mindset that you know what I'm saying, that was pretty much ingrained in us, basically, that you as a melanin man got to be on your fucking defensive. You got to be aggressive as fuck. You got to be loud. You got to be mean. You got to show your ass to show them don't fuck with me.
Right.
When that, and right there I consider it's toxic, because you know what I'm saying, you don't have to nigga, I'll fuck your ass up. You ain't got to do all that. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And I feel like, and I'm not bragging or anything like that, but I'm the opposite of that. I rarely yell. I rarely raise my voice. But if I'm crossed the wrong way, when the person who crossed me gets up off the ground and they wake up, they'll understand that ain't the one you fuck with. So
exactly.
And that's how I've always lived. It's like, trying to fight or something like that is going to be the absolute last. I'm smart enough to figure out ways to de-escalate a situation. You're not gonna rattle me enough to piss me off to ever get me to the point where I'm gonna throw the first punch, unless you bother my family. But that's a different
about
story.
10, 13 years ago.
Yes,
you pop off wrong. It's taking my shirt off. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I still don't do all that rah. It's unnecessary. Right. It's a waste of energy. And you know what I'm saying? They they pass it off to their sons and shit. But our community is it's fragmented as fuck, for lack of a better term.
Well, sure.
Because you have people with different fucking mindsets. I gotta have this street mindset. I can't let nobody fuck me over. If you talk to me wrong, I'm gonna bust your ass. Blah 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 blah. Because I seen that shit a lot. Specifically working in the prison. Because in there, you know what I'm saying, you're aggressive.
Well, that's a whole different world right there.
It is. You have to be that certain way. You can't let nobody talk to you this way. You can't let nobody talk to you that way. But it's a matter of respect and you protecting yourself. So would they could still consider that toxic masculinity if you have to evolve into that, I guess you could say, toxic masculine person if you're in that kind of environment?
I think that's a little different. And primarily, and I'm extremely generalizing here, but it's usually when you deal, and I want to be as PC as possible, when you, as a man, deal with somebody who is maybe physically weaker than you. I won't put gender on it because that could open up another can of worms that I don't feel like dealing with.
No, because I see some ladies out there knock them off her cold the hell out.
Right, exactly. But when you if you dealing in a situation like you
Sleep.
If you treating your lady a certain way, or you treat the women around you a certain way, or how you approach women, it's a lot of times dealt with in those kinds of interactions, and you're toxic or whatever the case. Like I remember back in the day, probably, gosh, 20 years ago, like it was a group of friends of us, male and female, guys and girls, whatever you want to use. We would call each other ho. And it wasn't like,
I remember that.
Yeah. And if you were on the outside looking in, you were like, wait a minute, did he just call her a hoe?
And
that's when
the Ludacris song came out.
Right. So right.
I ain't gonna sing it.
Right. And so I think it's kind of those things. If you don't understand the concept, the context, rather, don't judge. I mean, because I feel like what happens is it dilutes those situations where there really is a battle to fight and where there really is an issue, because you're like, oh, he said the word bitch. Okay. I understand the context. What was he talking about? Who was he talking to? Why did he say it?
And it's interesting you say the context, because now you could take that as abuse, just like, certain sexual harassment things. A third party can report that shit to whoever the fuck, and then you jammed up for your abuse or whatever the fuck.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the I guess the toxic. Oh my God, he said that to her. I'm gonna report it.
Right. And again, you don't know the context, because you could have been repeating a joke or something that she told you in the first place.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you'll still be jammed up. Is it fair?
Right. And I mean, I think that the fear is, it's one of those things, like I always say, people tend to approach issues with the grace of a chainsaw when we need a scalpel.
And
what I mean by that is, when something happens, it's like, we have to knock everything out. Or like, I'll give you an example. For our work vehicles or whatever, there were some higher ups that would use them in another, I won't say, I guess another agency that would use them for their personal reasons. And that was frowned upon, which you shouldn't do that. So instead of dealing with the problem and dealing with it with nuance and realizing that 95% of the population doesn't do that, they screwed everybody out of convenient uses for the car. Because like, you could, if I had to go to a facility that's close to my house, I could get a car and bring it home the night before and then drive it over. But now you can't do that. I got to go all the way to the office, pick a car up, come all the way back past my house, and then drive out there, to where now I wouldn't even just touch the cars. So it's one of, and that's what I mean by we deal with it with the grace of a chainsaw, because we take broad strokes. Or just like, worrying about harassment. Yes, sexual harassment is real. It's a problem. Yes, it needs to be corrected, but we need to understand a lot more than, something was said, so you can report it, and you have that negative stigma. Just like, all those cases you'll see of like somebody getting reported or something, and you find out that it wasn't even true.
Right.
And that person's career is shot. Now, if it is true, you need all the punishment you deserve. But before we jump to conclusions, let's do some more investigation first. And I mean, that's the thing. They call it the court of public opinion, where the decision is already made before any of the facts come out, and that's terrible. And I mean, I think that's, for me, that's kind of the moral of it, is let's use a little more grace. Let's use a little more understanding. Let's understand that there's nuance, and it's not always black and white. There's grays in there.
But the last thing for me, man, is as far as toxic masculinity, is restraint. Because a lot of times somebody will pop the fuck off, and you like, fuck it, let's go. Not thinking of the repercussions, but you know what I'm saying? Really weigh that shit. You know what I'm saying? Is bruh accidentally bumping into you or accidentally stepping on your shoes really worth the fucking hassle of losing your job, your family, your freedom, your all that stuff? I mean, just show a little restraint. Now, if they, you know what I'm saying, disrespecting your family, of course, step to them. I ain't, even me now, I'm not gonna just slap the shit out you. Hey, fuck you say you disrespecting my wife, you disrespecting my children. Chill with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not just gonna pop the fuck off, because if I pop the fuck off, whatever repercussions I get from me nutting the fuck up, it affects my family too. Sure, especially you gentlemen with families out there, you know what I'm saying? Show restraint. It doesn't necessarily mean you a bitch. You ain't no punk, you ain't no sissy, none of that type of shit.
It just, but see, even that, it's so funny too, because it's such a crazy slope. Referring to guys saying if they step down, and because they step down, they could be considered a punk, a bitch, or anything like that.
Yeah.
If we were monetized, that would probably demonetize us right there. But you know, that would be something that would be considered toxic.
Yeah.
Because you're not fighting and all that shit, so you're this. So yeah.
But one thing I would not tolerate is somebody calling me a pussy ass nigga. You ain't finna sit there and call me no pussy ass nigga and I get hit in the throat. Maybe that's my part of toxic masculinity, because I'm not saying I don't have any toxic masculinity in me at all, because like I said, I'm little. I'm 5'4", man. You know what I mean? Right. I can't, if you try me, I gotta fucking respond. That's just, you know, how I grew up, where we grew up at. You know what I'm saying? The last fight I got into, you heard about that fight. Motherfucker tried me because I was small and got his ass whooped. But
right,
we ain't gonna put names out there. But seriously, restraint. Most of us, you know what I'm saying, we're considered OGs now, if you will. We're in our 30s. We got families. We got good jobs. We're trying to make a living, make a way. The world is crazy. Right. Everything is already against us as it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't give the media, the people around you, and things like that another fucking reason to judge you as this thug, this animal, this aggressor, whatever the fuck.
Right.
So as far as toxic masculinity, bro, that's really all I got on that one, man.
Yeah, that's all I got too. I mean, we can move on.
Yeah,
it's a concept that it's a thing, but everything isn't a thing. What's the phrase? The quote is to a hammer, everything's a nail.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that situation.
Right.
And that kind of bothers me. Man, I'm dropping all the quotes tonight.
Yeah, you're dropping all them shit. Philosophical on that ass.
Hey,
God
man,
damn.
I'm getting there, man. I am getting there.
Pythagoras. He in there just crushing this shit. Goddamn Galileo face ass. He just.
Hey, man, you know, I'm in a so different place than I was even 2 years ago, and it's amazing.
Hell yeah.